find equation for the line below. I'm going to put my answers in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, now on these, if you were to zoom in, the y-intercept, the b, m is the slope. It's always in front of x. B is the y-intercept. I'm going to show you how to use 2 points because, first of all, that's what the lesson's about. Second of all, because sometimes it's hard to see if it's not exactly on the y-axis at a good point. It's hard to see exactly where it's at. This looks like it might be -3, but it looks like it could be off of it as well. So I'm going to take these 2 points they gave us and put it into an xy table. So 6, -2, and this one is -4, -4. I'm going to find the difference between y. To get from -2 to -4, you have to subtract 2. And to get from 6 to -4, well, to get from 6 to 0 is 6. And to get from 0 to -4 is 4. So you subtracted 10 there. A quick way to do that is if the signs are different, just add the numbers. So if they're getting smaller, it's negative, and then 6 plus 4 is 10. So I'm going to put the circled number on top, and this was not perfect, so the y-intercept was not perfect. Top negative cancels with the bottom negative. 2/10, they're both even, cut them both in half. Half of 2 is 1, half of 10 is 5. That is the slope. Y equals 1/5 x. Now you take one of these points. It doesn't matter which one you choose. I usually choose the first one. You multiply your slope times the x value. And I made it a fraction because my slope was a fraction. So you just put 1 under it to do that. 1 times 6 is 6. 5 times 1 is 5. So 6/5 plus something equals the y value, -2. So I'm going to subtract 6/5 from both sides. Opposites cancel. X equals, okay, so -2, I'm going to come over here, I need room to do this. -2/1, I'm making that a fraction, minus 6/5. I'm going to multiply this denominator and numerator by 5 so that both of these fractions will have 5 on the bottom. So I'm going to have -10/5 minus 6/5. When you have common denominators, you keep the denominator and you deal with the numerators. A -10 and another -6 is a total of 16 negatives. So that's my y-intercept, -16/5. So when they give you 2 points, put it back into a table to find the slope. Use the slope and 1 point to find the y-intercept. So for this next one, let me erase this for a moment. The first point is 5, 4. You do the x first and then the y. Second point is -1, -4. Now remember what I said about the signs being opposite? You add the numbers, and this is getting smaller, so it's negative. 4 plus 4 is 8, so -8. And getting smaller, so it's negative. 5 plus 1 is 6. So -8/6. The negatives cancel. Half of 8 is 4. Half of 6 is 3. That's my slope, 4/3. Y equals 4/3 x. Okay, so you take that. I usually just use the first point. Take that times the x value, 4/3, times 5/1 equals 20/3. So 20/3 plus something equals 4, the y value. So I'm going to subtract 20 over 3 from both sides. Opposites cancel. I'm going to come over here and work 4 over 1 minus 20 over 3. I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 3. So that's 12 over 3 minus 20 over 3. Keep the denominator. Calculate the numerator. 12 take away 20 is negative 8. That's the y-intercept. Negative 8 thirds. So the equation of this line is y equals 4 thirds x minus 8 thirds. Okay, the next one. I've got my x and my y. So that's negative 4, 3. And this is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Okay, from 3 to 1 you're subtracting 2. From negative 4 to 6 it's getting bigger, so you're adding 10 because the signs are different, so just add the numbers. So negative 2 tenths. Half of negative 2 is negative 1. Half of 10 is 5. I take half of them because they're both even. So my slope is negative 1/5 x. I'm going to take that slope, negative 1/5, times my x value, negative 4, make it a fraction by putting a 1. Negative 1 times negative 4 is positive 4. 5 times 1 is 5. So 4/5 plus something equals the y value, 3. I'm going to subtract out 4/5. Okay, so I've got 3 over 1 minus 4 over 5. Multiply the numerator and denominator by 5. 3 times 5 is 15. 1 times 5 is 5. Minus 4/5. Common denominator is 5. The numerator, 15, take away 4 is 11. So that's a positive 11 over 5 for my y-intercept. So the equation is y equals negative 1/5 x plus 11/5.